Episode 7 of the Ahsoka show is here. I mean, come on, how does Dave Filoni not just run this entire company by now? This action-packed 45-minute episode makes you forget that Anakin Skywalker was at the beginning along with C-3PO and Coruscant. Star Wars fans, it doesn't get much better than this, and I actually think it will get better than this next week in the finale, but rank this episode out of 10 in the comment section below, smash a like on this video, and let's break this all down. Episode 7 was called Dreams and Madness. This is a direct reference to what Baylan said back in episode 6. But episode 7 starts on Coruscant with Hera Syndulla meeting in front of the senators of the New Republic. Now you might be thinking, Mike, why aren't they in the Senate building and why is there so little senators? Well, with the Empire being destroyed, a lot of worlds around the galaxy don't really have time to just come to the Senate building to hang out and have a conversation every time a rebellious pilot goes off and does her own thing. This isn't the biggest deal in the world, so they don't need to bring in the entire Senate to make this decision. She's meeting in front of some familiar faces that we saw in episode 2 when Hera first asked the New Republic for help. This was of course when they said no. But the same annoying guy, Senator Xiono, was giving Hera Syndulla a lot of shit. Xiono is the father of Kaz Xiono from Star Wars Resistance. He's saying to the council in front of him that we can't have these pilots going off doing these rebellious missions on their own. And Hera Syndulla's response is, it's my job to protect the Republic. He says, you protected the New Republic by ignoring direct orders. And Hera Syndulla says, no, I protected the New Republic by ignoring you.
Boom. Roasted.
Mon Mothma says, can't we agree that whatever happened on Cetos was some sort of incident? And Xiono says, it kind of sounds like a fairy tale. Jedi, ex-Jedi, star maps, star whales, distant galaxies. And in his defense, it does sound a little bit like dreams and madness. He doesn't believe that the Imperial Remnant even exists anymore. And this is when we hear a very familiar voice, that of Anthony Daniels as C-3PO. He comes in with a message from Senator Organa. Yes, that is Princess Leia Organa. And the message is that she authorized this mission for Hera Syndulla, which of course we know that she did not. But C-3PO comes in and saves the day. I really wanted Princess Leia to come in and actually show her face, but I guess you can't win them all. I still do think we will see Princess Leia, maybe even in tomorrow's finale. But if not, they're probably saving her, Luke, and Han for Dave Filoni's movie. We then cut to the Purgles still traveling through hyperspace. They're almost at the end of their journey. We see Ahsoka Tano training. And while she's training, there's a hologram of Anakin Skywalker, again, in his Clone Wars armor, walking around her, talking her through the training. He says, in this war, you will fight more than just droids. Then he mentions General Grievous, Asajj Ventress, and Count Dooku. And correct me if I'm wrong, but that is actually the first live-action mention of Asajj Ventress. The message ends with Anakin Skywalker saying, I know you can do this, Ahsoka, as Hu Yang walks in. Ahsoka tells him that there are over 20 of these messages, and this was the last one that he created before, of course, we know what happens. But Hu Yang tells Ahsoka that they are probably coming out of hyperspace very soon as the Purgle are slowing down. As they come out of hyperspace, there's something going on outside. Ahsoka and Hu Yang are inside the mouth of the Purgle, so they can't really tell what's going on. When they fly outside and see there's a minefield with these explosives that track down the closest object when activated. Hu Yang says at least these Purgle are giving us cover as they leave because they don't want to get blown up themselves and they jet into hyperspace. This is a problem for Ahsoka and Hu Yang, but it might be a way bigger problem for them further down the line when they all want to get home. They make it through the minefield but see the Eye of Sion as these fighters come out after them. Ahsoka goes down into the ring that is going around the planet. This whole fight sequence in space is so cinematic, it literally looks like it could be in the movie theater. We then see Thrawn on the Chimera as Enoch tells him what's going on. Ahsoka's shuttle has entered the system, made it through the minefield, and is now in the ring around the planet. Morgan Elsbeth hands him something that says, here's everything that we had on Ahsoka in the Inquisitorial database, referring to the Inquisitors or the Inquisitori that you've seen in Star Wars Rebels, Jedi Fallen Order, Jedi Survivor, Kenobi, but honestly we had no idea that Morgan Elsbeth was connected to them at all. She hands him the datapad in the shock on Thrawn's face when he finds out that Ahsoka is the Padawan to Anakin Skywalker. Now Grand Admiral Thrawn in canon novels is one of only few people who know that Anakin Skywalker is Darth Vader. And when he left the galaxy, Darth Vader was still alive, which is why his next line is, "You're certain there was only one starship." Grand Admiral Thrawn is worried that Anakin came with her. Of course, he doesn't know that Anakin is now dead. Thrawn calls off the attack and Morgan Elsbeth is confused. They have them in the debris field, why not just destroy them? But Thrawn says the Jedi are very good at hiding. They've been practicing it for years. Obviously referring to the Jedi that survived Order 66 that have been hiding from the Empire for many years. And he says, however, we are getting to know our adversary, and if she's anything like her master, she is quite unpredictable and dangerous. And he says we can let her go on whatever path she wants because whatever direction she takes, we will always be one step ahead. This is classic Grand Admiral Thrawn. He was so good in this episode, really getting to see the tactical mind behind the big blue meanie. We then cut to Sabine and Ezra and the turtle people, or the naughty, traveling through the wasteland in these little pods. Now we don't know what Sabine was doing here, but you know it's been a while since they've seen each other. But Ezra says he's still trying to process everything she told him, meaning Sabine pretty much told him everything that happened from when he left up until the end of the Empire off screen, and we didn't really get to hear any of that explanation, but Ezra does say that Harrison Dule is a general now, Zeb is training people for the New Republic, and the Empire was defeated. He says the Emperor died, and Sabine says that's what people say, of course referring to
somehow Palpatine returned.
The dynamic between Ezra and Sabine this entire episode is spot on. Iman Esfandi as Ezra Bridger and Natasha Liu Bordizzo as Sabine Wren are perfect casting, and the two of them have really done their homework on the characters from Rebels. We then see Baylan, Shin, and the bandits from the last episode looking over from the hill to see Ezra and Sabine in the pods traveling through the wasteland. We go back to the Chimera where Thrawn has called upon the Night Sisters for one more task: to locate Ahsoka and Hu Yang in the debris field above the planet. They pull out their little flying ball things and use the lasers to pinpoint their location. While they do that, Hu Yang is trying to scan the planet to try and find Sabine, but his signal's either being jammed or the debris is too thick that they can't get through. So Ahsoka has to call through the Force. We get something very similar to Leia and Luke in Empire Strikes Back, or Luke and Darth Vader in Return of the Jedi, where they can sense each other's locations through the Force. But once Ahsoka pinpoints Sabine's location, Thrawn has pinpointed Ahsoka's. He tells the Eye of Sion to open fire on Ahsoka as they are pushed out of the debris field. Back in the wastelands, Ezra Bridger sees Baylan and Shin upon the hill. He asks if they're friendlies, and Sabine's like, yeah, no, and he turns the bus around. Then we hear a conversation between Baylan and Shin. And again, everything that comes out of Baylan's mouth is extremely important. But he tells Shin that she must go with Thrawn. The journey that he is on, he will go on alone. So Shin calls in that she knows Ezra's location, and Thrawn sends 2 gunships to their location. Back in the wastelands, we get a very cool chase scene between the bandits and the turtle people. Very similar to a Western style where cowboys are chasing other cowboys on horses and they rile each other up in a circle. Ahsoka and Hu Yang are being chased by fighter jets in the sky right above them as Ezra and Sabine are about to fight the bandits. We then get to see Ahsoka slide out of her ship while it's still flying above the ground, very similar to the way we saw her and her master do this many times in the Clone Wars. And she lands right next to Baylan, and Baylan kind of just shrugs this off. He literally killed her 2 episodes, and this doesn't faze him at all. He says he can't allow her to interfere. Interfere in what, Baylan? Just tell us who is calling to you already. We then get a very Ezra and Sabine from Rebels scene where they're about to fight the bandits, and Sabine says, "Take your lightsaber back, you're really good with it." And he's like, "No thanks, I'm good. I've been here for 11 years. I've learned how to fight without my lightsaber." as we get this amazing fight scene of Ezra and Sabine versus these bandits, where Ezra Bridger just uses his hands and the Force to take them all down. Sabine also uses a very cool combination of her blasters, her lightsaber, and her Mandalorian gear with explosives and a flamethrower, as the two of them don't miss a beat like they've been fighting alongside of each other for the last 11 years, even though Ezra's been missing. At the same time, Baylan and Ahsoka are fighting on top of the hill, another amazing lightsaber sequence. This Ahsoka show is full of them. Ezra and Sabine take down all the bandits as Shin Hati comes in, and Ezra says it's not looking good for you. Then the two gunships come out of nowhere, and it looks like Shin's got the upper hand again. That's when Sabine says, take her now, and Shin pushes Ezra up against one of the pods, showing this raw strength that Shin has. We really don't know how powerful she truly is. But Baylan and Ahsoka's fight comes to a standstill as Hu Yang helps from above, giving Ahsoka cover to go help her friends. Baylan doesn't even bother chasing after her, he just turns and walks the other way. And this is when we see Thrawn on the Chimera, being the tactical genius that he is, ordering his troops around from behind the scenes. It looks like Sabine and Ezra are surrounded when Ahsoka Tano comes in and saves the day. All three of them begin to take down the night troopers, and Thrawn calls off the attack. Morgan Elsbeth is extremely confused by this because it seems like they are letting the good guys win. But Thrawn, of course, being the genius mind that he is, sees that this was a success. It was a way to distract Ahsoka Tano and the others while they continued to load the boxes onto the Chimera. Now, we still don't know what's in these boxes. I still just have no idea. Could be Dead Knight Sisters, but might be something else. But you tell me what you think it is in the comments. Thrawn says we won this battle because Ahsoka Tano is out of what she needs most: time. We go back to the wasteland where the stormtroopers are retreating. Shin is very confused by this because she does not know what Thrawn is thinking, as Ahsoka offers her hand. She says, I can help you. You can tell Shin really thought about it, but she actually decides to turn and run away. Now, I don't think Shin will make it back to the Chimera by the time they want to take off, so she might actually get stranded here along with Ezra, Sabine, and Ahsoka. But the three of them are very happy to be reunited, even though they have no way home right now. It is technically a happy ending, I guess. This episode was amazing. A jam-packed 45-minute episode that had Anakin Skywalker again, and that wasn't even the biggest part of the episode. Cinematically, all these fight scenes, especially the ones in space, were fantastic. I rate this episode a 9.8 out of 10. The only flaw with this episode is not finding out who is calling to Baylan Skoll and not finding out what is in those boxes. I guess we'll just have to wait till the finale. But tell me what you think in the comment section below. Rate this episode out of 10 if you have not yet. Smash a like on this video if you liked it. Hit subscribe and hit that bell so you get notified every time I post a video. We go live on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, so don't miss out on any of that by hitting that subscribe. And if you want more, go check out this video I just did about this mysterious list that Baylan Skoll has on his wrist with all the original trilogy heroes' names on it.